All right, we're back up. Let me just fix this. Actually, for 9:22 now. Let's put some dots in there. So, as most of you know, I was not here last week. I had to go and be out of town for a bit on some personal matters. A death in the family. Had to go and deal with that. While away, I did run into a lot of people who were actually talking to me about this Friday night session and were attempting to encourage me to go live where I was, but I didn't think it was appropriate at the time. So I kind of had to bail on you last week. My apologies for that. But we're back again this week. And actually, last week's s- events, I'll say, um, which is it's death. That's kind of the topic for tonight. Is it kind of made me take a step back and think of a lot of things surrounding that. Death is inevitable. It's a part of life. It's something that's going to happen. In most cases, you don't know when, but it's going to happen. Are you prepared for such a situation? Right, and that preparation can vary in many different aspects. It can be based on what your current circumstance is, right? So if you have children, you know, mortgages, a lot of financial obligations and stuff like that. Do you have some sort of contingency in place? Are you the large contributor? Is something going to happen if you suddenly are no longer here, right? Will your kids be out of a home? Will the house have to be sold? There's a lot of things you need to look at, and that's a really hard question that a lot of people don't ask themselves. They don't really want to talk. People don't really want to talk about it, but it's the truth of the matter, right? It's going to happen eventually, and there's a lot of different strategies and things you can put in place to help you out from the financial side. Financially, you can pre plan a lot of these things. You can have insurance policies, things like that, to help cover the costs associated with going through such a traumatic event. When I say traumatic event, is because once something like that happens, your logic goes out the door. For that brief moment in time, the bulk of your decisions are very emotional. It's an emotional time. You're not necessarily seeing straight, and you might not necessarily have the right support around you at that point. So things can get really scattered and really out of hand really quickly. So it's definitely a good idea to have that sort of a conversation with your partner. Again, if that is your situation, and make sure you have things in place in the event of either one of you or your partner um, passes suddenly, and what is going to happen moving forward. That's the partner scenario. You have take me for example, no wife, no kids, none of that to deal with. Um, what is in place? Do I have things in place? What if something happens to me? Who's gonna handle everything? What is it that I want done? How is it gonna get done? Right? Financially, how will that be accomplished? So we can use myself as example. I have insurance in place. If something was to happen, beneficiary would get the funds relatively quickly. Everything is covered. It's a matter of me having that conversation with the beneficiary to say, uh, you know, in the event that something should happen to me, this is how I'd like things to go. This is what I'd like done. Right? There's so many different things around that. There's different religious beliefs and how things have to be done. There's personal beliefs and what you'd like done, right? Buried, cremated, and there's different costs involved with all of those things. Funeral homes, viewings, clothings. People talk about what is it called? Uh, it's just not coming to my brain. It's the gathering and everybody gets together after, and they usually, serve food. People kind of talk and so forth. That little event. There's a name for it. It's just not coming to my mind right now. But again, a lot of these things come with cost, planning, preparation, that sort of thing. And who's going to handle it? Who's going to be in charge of it? How's it going to go? So these are important conversations that you should have at some point. You should at least give it some thought. Age wise is literally irrelevant. It makes no difference what your age is. The moment you start to get your life on track and you have things in order for today, one of the things we always talk about, we talk about the plan, the future plan, the down the road plan, right? In that down the road plan, there's going to be a point where you're going to pass. What's the next steps? Are you building something that needs to last after you're no longer here? How is that going to operate? Who's going to run it? Who's going to be in charge of it? That's one. There's the your passing. What are you going to do with your body, that your being? What's going to happen with all of that? You can do a lot of things on your own, yes. But what happens when you get to the point where you're not here no more? Now who's going to do it? Who's going to be responsible? Who's going to handle all the stuff? Right? And there's a lot of different services out there that you can set up for yourself. Have you can prepay a lot of things and put things in order. But and again, that's entirely your own choice. Not telling you what to do. It's more so this is something that you should think about, and there are options out there. It's not that, well, I don't know, and it's going to be somebody else's problem. I really and truly, it will be somebody else's problem. But if you can contribute or be a part of that, you can possibly dictate how things could go after the fact. Super hard conversations to have with people. And sometimes that's really hard things to think about for yourself, you know? Nobody wants to think about death. Like that's the worst possible thing. Who wants to think about that? But it's in that circle of life. It's a part of it. You're going to start, you're going to end. You don't know when in most cases, but it's inevitable, right? Put all that aside. That's the whole death part and handling the death part and the after you've passed part. Take back and now look at here, look at today, look at now. Now you're living. Now you have all of these things going on, things you're working on, your projected plans for the future, the stuff that you want to, see come to light. And what what this whole what this whole ordeal kind of did for me is it did not change my focus and my vision from what it is that I'm trying to do and what I want to do and the timelines I've given myself. No, it hasn't stopped any of that. But it has made me take a step back and look at all of the individual things going on at the same time and kind of restructure the priorities of things, right? Is there something you've been procrastinating about? Is there, and I'm talking about myself. Is there something I've been procrastinating about? There's been a few things. So I've decided that, what, I need to kind of speed them up, you know, re reorganize my task list, right? Change the priorities of things, move things up higher in there to get them accomplished. Not that I'm going to pass, and it's not that I'm sitting here thinking that there's going to be some on time. Nothing like that at all, right? It's just kind of take a look back, take a step out of where I am, and look at me from this wide view way over here, right? Look at what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. Can something else be done differently? Should I change some things around? Should I restructure some things? Should I change the order of things? What's important? What's not important? What did I think was important? That's not really that important. It's kind of just a reevaluation point, right? and there are changes that have to be made. And this is going to happen throughout the course of your life. You're going to get to these different points in time where you may have your plan, you may be following your plan step by step, one, two, three, four, five, following each step, executing each piece, doing what it is that you want to do. Going in that right direction, seeing the progression as you move, and everything is just going the way you want it to go. That doesn't mean you're going to get to a point where you're going to look at it and be like, well, do I need to change something? I see that's Lex rolling over there. She's had it for the day, so she's napping early. Even though we're late, but that's all right. You're going to look back at these things. You're going to look at the current practice. You're going to make adjustments. It's the way it works. Throughout the course of time, you're constantly making adjustments to things. You're always changing it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're going to get to a point in time where maybe it's going to be overwhelming. The one thing I can suggest to you when you get to that point is don't quit what you're doing. Don't let any one circumstance stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. If you need to take a step back, if you need to take a break, if you need to rest, you need to go on a vacation, whatever you need to do, clear your head, clear your thoughts, reorganize it. Stop, take the moment, do it. Take the time you need to do it. You don't have to work within anybody's time except your own, right? This is your journey. This is your process. Don't stop what you're doing. Rest, take the break, analyze it, start again, continue going. You started this path because you know you want something different for you. You want something better for you, right? And just keep driving at it. Keep going. Keep going. If you modify it, there's nothing wrong with that. Life's going to happen all the time. You're always going to be making changes in between. That's the main thing. You can't lose the drive. I mean, sometimes you'll get tired. Sometimes you'll get burned out. You could have 10 million things going on at the same time. You have your job, you have your relationships, you have another job, you have something else you're working on, you have education, you have kids, you have so many things going on. There's nothing wrong with exhausting yourself. You can do that very easily. If you've exhausted yourself, take a break. During that break, think, well, how did I get so exhausted? Maybe my plan needs to be changed. Maybe how I'm working on it needs to be adjusted. Maybe I need to, reprioritize some things, change how I manage my schedule, and get back on track. You need to take a break, take the break. You need to take the break for your own mental sanity, right? Your head goes crazy. What can you possibly do? Nothing. This steers everything. Everything is steered through your mind. If your mind is not at rest, if your mind is not at ease, everything is always going to be difficult, right? Today, you're able to juggle 10 things at the same time. It's going to happen 2 years from now. Number one, life has changed. Number two, you're older. Number three, you react to things differently. That comes with time. Your reaction is different. Those are just a few key points, the things that can cause you to have to reassess, make a different move, change the course. Don't change the goal. The goal's got to be the same. Never forget what the end goal is. Don't forget what it is you're trying to do, what it is that you want to do. You're always trying to do better for you. You want to be better than who you were yesterday. The goal is to create the best version of yourself. What does that look like? Only you know. We could talk about it. You could tell me all about it. We can picture it together, but no one can do it for you. You have to do it yourself. And you have to see it in here. As long as you see it in here, and it's a constant picture in here, you'll be able to strive towards it. No matter what direction you walk, As long as you see the image, it's going to take you right to it. That's what you want to do, right? Go back to the beginning about death. That sucks. It sucks. It is the worst thing. It is horrible. Obviously, it wasn't me that passed, but it was somebody close to me that passed. And, it took a toll on me emotionally. I had to, process that whole thing. And age was not a factor. As far as I knew, health was not a factor either. It's kind of came out of nowhere. And that's how life circumstances will change out of nowhere. Snap of the finger. Something happened. Not necessarily somebody passing. You could lose your income source, right? You could injure yourself. Something could happen that could change the plan. You got to be able to adjust the plan, but maintain the goal. Constantly reassessing what you're doing isn't a bad thing. They call us overthinkers. We're not overthinkers. We're thinkers, right? We think about it. We think about it. We write it down. We map it out. We look at that. We create the process. We follow the process. We readjust the process. The one common factor in all of it, it's that vision. It's the goal. So you're always seeing the goal. You're seeing the goal when you're awake. You're seeing the goal when you're asleep. You know where it is you try what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go. Just keep walking in that direction. It's easy. One foot in front of the other, and then repeat. That's it. That's it. You don't have to run to get there. You just have to move in that direction. Time will come that you'll start running. That's it's going to happen. Just keep moving in the right direction. Something happens, take a moment, sit back, process it, get it handled, and be able to put it behind you so you don't have to carry it with you while you're attempting to move forward. It's only going to slow you down. Things happen to everybody all the time, every single day, every single second. Something happens to somebody somewhere in this whole world. At that point, there's a choice. Is this moment going to define me, or is it going to hold me back? Or is it going to propel me forward? It's entirely up to you. You got to decide what works best for you. Nobody knows. What you say means nothing because anything can come out of anybody's mouth. What you do is what matters. It's the action. Talk is great. Talk not followed by action, pointless. Guilty as charged many times. I have started so many things throughout the course of time. I have things on the go right now that I put on pause because something else has taken priority over it. Now, I haven't forgotten. I'm dragging it along with me until I can get back to it, putting it in the front. It's something that I need, so I haven't let it go. But I have to make adjustments too. I don't have it all figured out by all means. Circumstances change every single day. Running with it. I don't let things weigh me down anymore. So that doesn't mean that there's not going to be an impact on me if something happens, right? You know, I'll take a break. I'll take the moment and just, process it. Some things take longer to process than others. It's the reality of life. But I don't lose sight of what I'm trying to do. And I'm constantly moving in that direction. And there's so many moving parts in my own personal plan, right? I work full time. I'm attempting to start other businesses here, start a different business here, start a different one over here. I have to take care of my dog. I have to maintain where I'm living. There's a lot of circumstances around what I do. It's the life I want to live. I like to travel, right? I've talked many times about traveling. I like to travel. I like to do it. I like to go and unplug for, a few days. Nothing crazy, just a few days, just to go and leave it all behind. Disconnect. You can disconnect and just it's a good thing to do sometimes. You don't necessarily have to travel to do that. That's the point that I do it. You got to find what works for you. Keep moving in that direction. Keep driving towards the goals. Keep keep recognizing the accomplishments that you've made for yourself, right? It can't always be go, go, go. It can't always just be work, 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 right? Yes, it's a great thing to do. Sure. If you can toss everything else aside for the next year, 2 years, and focus 100% on just your goals and nothing else and eliminate everything else, would that benefit you? Absolutely. 100%. That's not the most realistic view. That's very difficult to do. Not impossible, but difficult to do. And I am not for dictating how anybody should do anything. You got to do what works for you. Do what makes you happy because it's entirely about you, not anybody else. Even if you're in a relationship with somebody, you got to do what makes you happy. 'Cause if you're not happy, you're pretty much useless to the other person. It's a team effort. Do what makes you happy. Taking if you're happy sitting around doing nothing, sit around and do nothing. Be happy. If you're happy doing that. As life progresses, as things happen, and you're like, oh, I never had the opportunity. I could do it. Be accountable for the actions you want to take. But whatever it is that makes you happy, that's what you got to do. Surround yourself surround yourself with people that share the same goal. We have people, not your goal, like their own personal goals, but it's similar in drive, it's similar in task. You'll have a lot in common to talk about. You're able to feed off each other and help each other out. That's the super tribe you want to make. You want to create that tribe around you, right? Those are the people I want to keep around me. I want to have people around me I can talk productively and constructively with. People that can share my view, my thought. They can give me that criticism. They can give me that suggestion. We can work together to build each other, right? Imagine you have a whole group of people that are on the same wavelength. You guys are all trying to do the same thing, and you're all growing together at the same time throughout the course of time. 10 years from now, imagine you spend 10 years building that, building you while building the relationships with that group of, say, 10 people. You'll be like the Super 10. It will be the in group, right? That's what works for me. That's what I'm trying to do. And people are going to be in and out of that group throughout the course of time, constantly, because you can come in with an idea. Maybe after you're there for a while, you realize it's not for you. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. You have the power of choice. You choose where you want to go. You choose where you want to be. You choose who you want to be around. You choose what you want to eat. You choose what you do. It's the power of choice. That's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's all in how you look at it. Sometimes there's too many choices. When you're indecisive, what do you do with too many choices? Nothing. You sit still and you look at all of the options and do nothing. Been there. Been there a few times. Doesn't really get you anywhere. You're left sitting there at the same time, and what's passing you by? Time. Time has a time limit. When you don't know what the time limit is, it is even worse. The older you get, the the more you're going to start thinking, well, am I close to the end of time? Is that going to run out? What do I need to do to fix that? And that's going in the aspect of a lot of people, not until they get older, they start when they get older, they start thinking about their health a little bit more. They start taking care of themselves more and more and more. They start to eat better. They start to add in some more activity, gyms, classes, whatever it is. They start looking at their health a little bit more. But you could have been doing that a long time ago. Again, irrelevant. Not going to judge anybody. Doesn't matter. Time passed. This is where you are now. That's a great choice to make. Encourage somebody that wants to do that. You want to start eating better? Great. Eat better. Check out this website. Here's where a bunch of recipes. Have you tried cooking this? Right? Do you have these tools? Tool number one these days, what? An air fryer. Everybody's gonna have an air fryer. Uh, Air fryers are cool. I have one. Um, but health. Let's start looking at that. Health is super important. It's important that you get yourself checked out at least one time a year. Go to the doctor. Get the full workup done. Do all the tests. Get everything done once a year. That's all you need to do. If you got some problems throughout the year, go back and see the doctor. But dedicate yourself to one time a year to keep things going. As time progresses, just start making better choices. The more you take care of yourself now, the better position you get your health in, the less dependency you could have on medication as you get older. Once you get older and you start and you end up being diagnosed with something that could put you on medication, you're on the medication for the rest of your life. That's just how it's going to work. And now this is you will now have a dependency on it to avoid other complications. You're going to limit yourself to the things you can be doing now that you're older, but now you have to take some medication to go with it, right? You can avoid that. You can eat your way out. Eat your way out of the medication by starting sooner, as in taking better care of yourself, right? I get it. The cost of living is super high. Absolutely, it's super high. Go to the grocery store, it's ridiculous the cost of groceries. You're going to look at I have X amount of money, I can get X amount of groceries. Start looking at the quality of what you're ingesting. You only have one you. There's only one. If you don't take care of it, nobody else is going to do it for you. Eat better. Ingest better things. Value your body. Value what you're putting into it. Drink more water. Go for a walk. Make some healthier eating choices. I'm not saying don't eat chips, don't eat cake, don't eat ice cream. No, no. Eat whatever you want, but pay attention to what it is that you're doing. Don't get to a point where it's like, oh, shit. How the hell did that happen? Well, you've been eating garbage for the past 10 years. It's obviously going to take a toll on your body from poor digestion, indigestion, uh, heartburn, acid reflux. Then you're going to have things, uh, you know, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. A lot of these things, in a lot of cases, can be corrected by changing your behavior, changing your changing your daily routine. And it does not. If you wait till it's bad, it becomes a very difficult change to make. Make the small, simple changes now. A lot of us don't drink water at all. I was like that. Absolutely. I was like that. I just, wasn't for me. Wasn't my thing. Now, I drink a lot of water now. I actually now sell water machines and I have special fancy pH water that I drink. I find that drinking this water quenches my thirst better. And when I travel and I don't have the water to drink, when I come home, I'm happy to drink the water because it's produced by the machine that I have here. Um, that's a very simple choice. That's the easiest thing you can do. Drink some more water. You'll see a lot of memes out there right now. You know, drink water and mind your business. Yeah, it's just, that's actually really great advice. Mind your business, as in what's going on around you. Don't worry about anybody else. Worry about you. Take care of yourself. Hydrate yourself. Weather's changing. Go out, go for a walk, enjoy the air, smell it. Smell the city that you live in, right? If it stinks, move. Choice. You have choices. Find somewhere that smells good, where the air is fresh. Somewhere you'll want to go for a walk. See, I am sort of forced to walk because I have to walk Lex. But I enjoy walking Lex. It's our time, right? I like walking around our neighborhood and just breathing the fresh air, right? She gets exercise, I get exercise. It's good for both of us. Gets the blood circulating. It gives me breaks from work. I work from home. So I sit at my desk a lot and I'm working. I get up, I get to take a break, go out, get some air, go for a walk, stretch a little, come back and continue. Everybody's happy. It's a good thing. What's the next thing for me to do? Okay, well, start now regulating what you're eating. I was the king of eating out. 3 meals a day. Didn't cook at all. Where I was living before, I don't even think I ever used the stove. 'Cause I'm a single person. It's more cost effective for me to just eat out. So I would just eat out all the time. Is that a good thing? Yes and no. What are you eating? When are you eating? How much are you eating? Right? I have to go through that, go through that up and down yo-yo of weight loss and health and mobility and flexibility, right? To try and find the rhythm that works for me, right? I'm in no way, you know, in the best position I want to be, but I'm getting there. I'm making those decisions. I'm making those choices. I'm getting into it. We all know that I smoke. Yeah. We all know that I drink. Yeah. Those are two things that I like to do. My choice. I choose to do that. Will I stop them? Maybe. Am I going to stop them today? Probably not. But and I was actually having this conversation with somebody last week while I was away. Was like, you have a list of all of these bad things that you do. I go, well, then you need to get some good things in there. Make a new list and try to balance them out. Find your own balance. Find what works for you. But don't just do bad, 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 bad all the time. And don't just do good, 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 good all the time because you're missing out on something. Something you're not seeing. Got to have that balance of it all in between. And again, it's not for anybody else to understand. And I stress this, it's not for anyone to understand. It is you, it is your journey. It's for you to understand and you alone. You can talk to people about it, you can explain what you feel to them, but you're the one that has to understand it. You're the one that has to believe in it. You got to believe in you. You're not doing any of this for anybody else. You're doing it for you first. Everybody else is secondary. Just keep going. Keep at it. I mean, tonight was great. I know we're a little past the time there. Um, I'll be back again next Friday. I'm going to change this up. I'm going to change up the structure of how this is being done. All of this came about from me taking that time away and rethinking of everything. Right? A lot of people I met last week were talking about this Friday night session, and a lot of people told me they really liked the gorilla. Uh, Appreciate that. I liked it too. That's why I bought it. Um, and They were asking me a lot about multiple episodes that we talked about. And one of the best pieces of feedback I got is someone said to me, if we look back at when you first did the videos to how you're doing it now, you're like a completely different person. That's the point. That's the purpose of me doing that. I am trying to evolve myself into a better version, right? In how I'm delivering. My ability to sit here and have a conversation by myself. When I think about it, I can think back to the beginning where I would wander off topic and get lost and I can't pull myself back in. Whereas now I can do it easier. It still happens every now and again. I'll ramble on and lose my train of thought and I can't pull myself back. But I've gotten a lot better at it. And it's only going to get better with time. And I'm getting introduced to more and more people. A lot of people that are seeing, a lot of people told me that they see it on the replay because it's late. Absolutely fine. But this time slot works for me. That's why I usually do this at 11 p.m. on Fridays. Um, and some people are on live, some people see the replay, but I always like the feedback. I always like hearing the feedback. You know, the people that think it's funny, the people that think I'm just speaking garbage. It's okay. I like to hear that. That just means that what I'm talking about does not relate to that person. It's not going to relate to everybody. You got to be around people that you're going to relate to. And I'm not stopping anybody from looking at it. I'm not stopping anybody from checking it out. I'm not stopping anybody from giving me their feedback. I like it, both positive and negative. It helps me know what should I change? What do I need to adjust? Right? What How do I do this going forward? What is it that I want to do? All right, all right. That's okay. It's probably a dog outside the door. I woke her up. All right, okay. All right, all right. Maybe she's saying it's enough. It's time to go. So, with that, we will call it a night. Again, thanks everybody for joining in. Whoever joined in live, anybody who saw it on the replay, appreciate you checking it out. By all means, please send any feedback, comments, direct messages, whatever works for you. You want to talk, you want to have some of these hard conversations, let's have them. You want to have a mock conversation with somebody before you go talk to your partner? By all means, reach out to me. Let's have that mock conversation. Let's see how it could play out, right? There are difficult conversations. I know it's not, some of these conversations aren't easy, but they're conversations that you need to have, right? Hard conversations are a good thing. A lot of people will hide from them. I'm not one of them. I can ask the hard questions and I can answer the hard questions when they're asked to me. So I understand why they're being asked. So let's give them a try. Do that little exercise for yourself. Do it for yourself. Write down 5 questions that you would not normally have in conversation with anybody. Just do it personally. How about saying write them down? Write down your answers. Reread what you came up with. And then you're going to sit back and be like, well, look at that. I've never really thought about it that way. And now it's like, well, who needs to know this information? Share that information with that person. Let them know. Put it somewhere they're going to get it. Right. So, with that, pour yourself a fresh glass of whatever it is you're drinking. Go grab yourself a quick snack. Get snuggled into bed. Watch your TV show. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Again, thanks for taking the time to be here. And I will look out for all of you next Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. Same place.